Hi guys, welcome to Investing with JYK, and today I will introduce a really nice website. This website is called Lixingren, and it's a play on words on, well, it's supposed, I think it's trying to say a rational person, but it actually means something else. It's something, some kind of almond, but whatever. Uh, the point I'm trying to say is this is a really good website for filtering Chinese stocks, and you can, since you can now buy Chinese stocks via interactive brokers, I think in the US. So I think now it is quite a useful website. The cost, well, you can try out for a couple of days for free, but the cost is something like $30 or something. It's really cheap. They don't accept any payments other than Alipay, but let's see if I can convince um, their founder to get another payment. Um, just to be very sure, I don't receive any compensation for this, and it's purely because I love this website. It's fast and it's fairly correct. The data is good quality. Okay, so there's a screener, and let's see if I can make this translate. No, it doesn't translate. This is actually I think it's Node.js website, so everything is a JS. So let's take a look. The EV/EBITDA, well, EV over EBIT ratio. I'm doing 0 to 10, and then I say, okay, at least you have to pay some dividend, 1% least, and then PE is at least 1. So that basically just says you have to be profitable. So we're getting rid of the really cyclical ones. Right? And here is the, this is dividend, this is PE, trailing 12-month percentile, 10-year percentile, PB, exclusive of goodwill. This is really good. I freaking hate goodwill, but I guess it's a necessary evil. I know, I kind of get why it's there. I hate it. And this is PB percentile, PB exclusive of goodwill percentile of in 10 years, and then PS trailing 12 month, PS trailing 12 month percentile in 10 years. So you know, I put the PB at 50 because PB is usually a fairly good indicator of where the company is in its valuation. So a lot of companies, like, people trade it on PE, but in fact, if you look over a cycle, the return on B, so essentially ROE, is fairly consistent across cycles. So those are I'm trying to filter out cyclical companies again. So you may want to look at cyclical companies in China, but that's a separate thing. So for now, I'm trying to find good companies in China. And the nice thing about this website is that it enables you to do both A shares and B shares. And just to recap, A shares are Chinese companies trading in yuan, so the Chinese currency. B shares is Chinese company trading in China but quoted in dollars, either US dollars or Hong Kong dollars. Okay, so we can sort by different things. So let's say I sort by dividend. You got this real estate company, and this one I was looking at, but this is really a cyclical company. It's and you can see it here, right? The PB isn't that cheap. 40 percentile 46th percentile in terms of PB. And even PS isn't that cheap. It's 23 percentile in terms of PS. And PE is very low, but that's a cyclical company. PE doesn't mean much. This one is on this one builds I think titanium oxide paints or something like that. So it is very cyclical. It's tied to titanium. Forgot what this thing was, but you got these. Personally, I hold Lutai, and as I discussed, I love this company. It's gonna be very stable. The reason is actually, there's another textile. Both these are textile companies. Interesting. This one's fairly cheap too. You got over 10 years. You got five percentile in terms of PE, 6 percentile in some PB, and 22 percentile in some PS. So not too bad. But that's actually here. And this one I was looking at myself as well. I love this one. This one, it produces, it says cars here, automotives, but this company is actually a company that produces motorbikes and agricultural tractors. Right? So it's like John Deere almost. John Deere, Deere. I don't know how to pronounce it. If you look at it compared to its historical values, cheap in every single measure. That's good. For real estate, I'm not quite sure because real estate in overall in China is a bit hot, so I'm not too keen on that. But if you look at motorbikes, what do you use them for? You can't drive motorbikes in most major Chinese cities. They ban them. You basically drive in the countryside, and is that going to be so? The price dropped a lot recently. Everything dropped a lot because of trade war worries. But is that going to affect motorbike sales? Probably. Maybe you get lower income because of the less trade, and then the people that work for like export, US export might get affected, so less income, so there's some kind of trickling effect, maybe. But overall, China's still growing, so the people in countryside will get more income, and they will get they're still fairly poor. If you look at annual income, they're sub $2,000 or something. So they can't afford a car, so they will probably buy a motorbike to begin with. And tractors, okay, so if anything, I think they will benefit from more trade war because China imports a lot of agricultural products from US. So, and again, you got more real estate and some coal. You got 2 coal, and then you got a railroad. I love this one. I actually bought this one. So for both disclosure and as a conviction, I own this guy and I own this guy. So at the Lutai B, the textile company, and this one's called Daqing Tielu. It's a stretch of railroad that goes from Shanxi to Qinhuangdao. So Shanxi is where most of the Chinese coal is produced. Qinhuangdao is a port, and the cheapest way of transporting coal is through ships. Is by ships. So you take the Shanxi coal, transport them to the port, and that then can go anywhere near the sea. And the transportation is actually fairly cheap. And you got a bunch of other stuff. The ones that you can buy as a ADR. I don't think any of these you can buy as ADR, but these are the highest yielding Chinese companies. Right, so, and then you can see EV/EBIT is all single digits, all good signs. And if you look at, I opened this one. This one produces LEDs, and you can look at, a lot of data. So this one is this is PE to TTM. Sorry, trailing 12-month PE, and you can see currently is about 15. And they give you the 20th percentile, so it's actually below 20th percentile in terms of PE. And if you look at PB, it's actually quite a bit lower than the 20th percentile PB for 10 years. And the PS, same thing, very low. And dividend yield, you can see dividend was almost completely suspended in 2017 and then went back. So it's very high at 8%. 8% dividend. This is fantastic. So this website is really nice. So the goal of this video is really just to show you both what this website is capable of and what are the good picks. So this is the symbol. If you want to dig in this yourself, you can use this symbol. And the other thing is, this is for Hong Kong traded shares. You can buy these directly through interactive brokers. And very similar things, put them in. Unfortunately, they don't have PB exclusive of goodwill in here, but you kind of have to use a judgment. So you have to look into their statements yourself to see how much goodwill they have. I hate the name goodwill. They should just call it plug-in variable. Damn it. Okay. So if you sort by dividend, another thing, I tend not to invest in any Chinese company that don't pay a dividend. I don't trust the quality of audit in Chinese companies, because there has been numerous occasions where you end up with some company that end up as a fraud. It happens in the US too, but it's a lot more common in China. A lot more common. I hate that, but it's part of life. So the fact that they're able to pay out a dividend in cash means at least at least the cash is real, so you can trust on that. And the fact that they're able to pay it out gives me a lot more confidence than some company that's growing and not paying cash. I'm paying dividend. And the other thing is, if it's a well-known company, I'll probably buy it. I might waive, the dividend requirement. For example, if it's Tencent or Alibaba, I know they're doing really well. I know people are using their products. Then that's a separate thing. But if it was a a less known company and then they don't pay a dividend, I try to not even invest in them. It's unfortunate, but that's China for you. So if you sort by dividend, you got a bunch of things. You got, I don't know what the hell this does. This is some kind of pharmaceutical company. I don't know what this does. A bunch of these, I don't know what these things do. But here, this one is a holding company for ports. Okay, so what did that mean? That means as long as trading keeps going, the ports will be valuable. And then good ports are hard to come by. What is a good port? So first of all, it needs to be deep. How can it be deep? It cannot be on a beach, obviously. it should be around mountains or hills, right? So more hilly areas will give you a better port. And the other thing is transportation. You need railroad connection, airports. So those two things. Once the shipment arrives on the port, they need to get to some way of getting inland, and you need preferably a railroad. And the railroad can't be built very easily. It takes a lot of capex, but railroad is the cheapest way of moving stuff around on land. And also, it's a bit like a toll road, except I think the moat is slightly less, because you can have multiple ports in the vicinity. For example, near Shenzhen, there's one called Yantiangang, which is the port of Yantian, and there is Hong Kong port, the Victoria port, right? And that's one. And then you might even get the Guangzhou one or whatever. So there are multiple ones. So it's slightly worse than a toll road, but it's really cheap. So you can see this thing is yielding 13%. This PE is at 8. In terms of percentiles, it's 7%, 7th percentile over the past 10 years. In terms of PB, it is 0.7. So you're getting it at less than the net asset. And in terms of PS, it's also very low. And the other thing is the B is very likely underestimated. Well, obviously it depends on reporting standards. Under GAAP, it's going to be underestimated for sure, because you cannot reevaluate your fixed assets or whatever, the land holding or something. So that's why Texas land, the Pacific Trust of, what was the name? This was a company called Pacific Land Trust Company. It basically holds a bunch of land in Texas. It trades at ridiculous PBs, but because the land has appreciated so much, the thing has been there for like 50 years or something. The B is no longer a good metric, right? So for this port thing, Chinese real estate land prices appreciated a lot, and these ports are typically built in the 90s. So they got the land really cheap. That's the same thing if you think about airports and stuff like that. When they were built, the land was really cheap, and now you kind of you basically are using costs from 10, 20 years ago, and you're producing income that is current. So it's really could even be an asset play. If you read Peter Lynch's books, these can be even an asset play. So I like this one a lot. I haven't bought it. I should really have. There's a lot of these, and I don't know what this does. This is some kind of real estate company. This looks like cabinets. I don't quite know. But if you click into it, they give you valuation things. They give you, all these valuations, the PE, PB, and PS, everything. And dividend yield as well. It's ridiculous, like 12% dividend. Holy crap. And you can even look at, say, dividend analysis. Right? How much they're paying in terms of dividend compared to their income and all that stuff. So yeah. The other thing I liked was, let's see if I can search for that. Yeah, you can actually buy a coal company in China at, you know, 0.9 PB. This is the biggest coal company in China, and it actually has some moat because it actually has its own railroad of transporting. Uh, it has its own railroad. It has some has coal mines, and it also has what do you call that? They also have some tech. So basically, there was some tech that becomes profitable as soon as oil reaches like $60. Oil is at 75 now. So this is good stuff. It's also a big company that is fairly well known. I like these companies. The thing about China is things went down so much, and all the gold just start appearing. You get these things, you can sit on it for more than 10% return. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It's like, oh, happiness is when you see cheap stuff. At least for me. So yeah, that's it for today. I will still do my part 2 of Jiangsu Expressway. I think Jiangsu Expressway should come up around in this screener as well. So let's see. Yeah, it is here. Right, about a 6% dividend, and PE is at 0.53 in terms of percentiles for the past 10 years. PB is 0.57. PS is at 3.6 percentile. You're getting this as cheap as you can ask for. This is quite good. There's no guarantee that these things won't go down further. Obviously, once you're at third percentile in terms of valuation, it could become the 0th percentile, so it will be the cheapest ever. But if you think about what you're buying, if you're buying something that's non-replicable, for example, a toll road or some cheap coal mine or a railroad, there really isn't much space for replication. Even if someone has capital, you can't replicate the same returns, and you get them at single-digit PEs, and you get them at really good price to cash flow or price to really good dividend yields. You're gonna do fine, and yeah, it will go down another 30% or whatever. Give it 10 years, you make a lot of money. So yeah, that's it for today, and I apologize because I'm a little bit drunk. I've been drinking stuff. I bought this Sapporo beer. I love this thing. They're kind of expensive, but I love them. And I thought about buying them. They're still very expensive. I thought about buying them in terms of stocks. I try to buy everything that I look at, that I consume. I think about every single one of them, see if I can make some money out of their stocks. But most of the times, they're too expensive. But it's one way of finding investment ideas. And if you want me to dig into any of those stocks, let me know, leave a comment, and that should be it for today. See you next time.